The sun was slipping behind the clouds when a teenage girl named Lily stepped into the old gas station, clutching her worn-out denim jacket. She wasn't trying to draw attention. She never did. But sometimes life doesn't ask what you want. It just throws you into the spotlight. And on that chilly evening, a group of bikers standing outside noticed her jacket and burst out laughing. Their loud voices echoed across the parking lot. A few pointed at her sleeves, a few shook their heads. And Lily? She froze, her shoulders tightened, her fingers trembled around the zipper. She had been laughed at before, but never like this. Then one biker pushed forward, took a closer look, and suddenly everything changed. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment to support our channel True Story Tales, where we bring you real, emotional stories that remind us how powerful kindness can be. Lily was 17, quiet, and always wore the same denim jacket. It wasn't new, it wasn't stylish, but it meant everything to her. Her mother had sewn it with her own hands when Lily was 10, right before she got sick. The jacket had colorful patches stitched across the front and back. Some were crooked, some were faded. But each one represented a memory, a place they had visited, an inside joke, a tiny adventure. After her mother passed away, the jacket became her shield against the world. That evening she had been returning from school, exhausted from another long day of being teased. Some kids said the jacket looked like it came from a thrift shop. Others joked that it belonged in a museum for ugly fashion. Lily tried to ignore them, but the words stuck like thorns. She stopped at the gas station to buy a drink and steady her breath. But fate had a strange sense of timing. 4 large motorcycles rolled into the parking lot, black, chrome, and loud enough to shake the air. The riders climbed off, big men with heavy boots, leather vests, and tattoos blazing across their arms. They were the kind of guys who looked like they'd been through everything and weren't afraid of anything. Lily kept her eyes down. She didn't want trouble. She just wanted to walk home. But as she stepped out of the store, the wind pushed her jacket open, revealing a patch on the back. Bright, colorful, hand-sewn. One of the bikers, a tall guy with a long gray beard, pointed and laughed. "What's with the kitty jacket?" he said loudly. Another joined in. "Looks like something my granddaughter would wear." Lily felt her throat tighten. She wanted to shrink into the pavement. She hugged her arms around herself and walked faster. But the more they laughed, the slower she moved. Not because she wanted to, but because memories of her mother flooded in. The laughter felt like knives. She blinked hard, trying not to cry. That's when everything shifted. The bearded biker took a step closer, squinting at the patch they were mocking. He stopped. His smile faded. "Hold up," he muttered quietly. He motioned the others to come closer. They leaned in, expecting another joke. But the moment they saw the patch, all the laughter fell silent. It wasn't a cartoon. It wasn't a silly phrase. It wasn't a kiddie design. It was a hand-embroidered badge that read, "In memory of Sarah Thompson. My mom. My hero." Below it was a tiny stitched image of a motorcycle, the same model they were riding. The bikers exchanged looks. The bearded man swallowed hard. "Kid, where'd you get that?" Lily froze. She couldn't speak at first, but something in his voice, something soft, something real, loosened the knot in her chest. "My mom made it," she whispered. "She loved bikes. She used to ride with her friends. She always wanted to join a real biker club one day. She made this for me before she passed." The wind carried her words slowly across the parking lot. The bikers stared, not at the jacket, but at the grief stitched into every thread. The bearded man stepped closer, his voice low and gentle. "What was her name again?" "Sarah," Lily murmured. "Sarah Thompson." At that, one biker, a tall woman with braided hair, inhaled sharply. "I knew a Sarah Thompson," she said softly. "She rode with us once, years ago, before she got sick." Lily's eyes widened. "You knew her?" The woman nodded. "Yeah. She was tiny, but she rode like thunder. Kindest heart I ever met." The bearded man lifted a hand and placed it on Lily's shoulder. Not heavy, not intimidating, but full of respect. "We're sorry, kid," he said. "We didn't know." For the first time in a long time, Lily didn't feel mocked or judged. She felt seen. The bikers gathered around her, forming a gentle circle. They weren't laughing anymore. Their voices dropped to quiet tones, asking about her mother, her favorite roads, her favorite rides, her favorite memories. Lily told them how her mother used to take her on long drives, windows down, music up, pretending the car was a motorcycle because she was too sick to ride anymore. She told them how her mother dreamed of joining a biker club but never got the chance, and how she spent weeks hand-stitching the patches on the jacket during her last months. One biker wiped his eyes discreetly, another cleared his throat and stared at the ground. These were tough men and women. They rode through storms, they faced danger, but kindness, heartbreak, love, these things still got to them. The bearded man finally spoke. "Your jacket isn't something to laugh at," he said. "It's a tribute, and we respect that more than you know." He turned to the others and nodded. And what happened next, Lily would remember forever. The biker woman unzipped her vest and pulled off a patch, a real club patch, embroidered and leather-backed. "This belonged to your mom's friend group," she said. "She earned it during a charity ride. She gave it to me to keep safe. I think it belongs with you now." Lily's hands shook as she accepted it. "You really knew her?" she whispered again. "We did," the woman replied, "and she'd be proud of you for wearing that jacket." The bearded man spoke up again. "We messed up," he admitted. "We judged before we knew. Happens more than we like to admit. But if it's all right with you, we'd like to escort you home." Lily blinked. "Escort me?" "Yeah," he said with a warm smile. "Your mom rode with us once. Tonight you ride with us, in spirit." The sound of engines filled the air as the bikers mounted their motorcycles. The bearded man gestured for Lily to walk in the middle of the group. "Stay close, we'll keep you safe." The ride wasn't long, just a few blocks, but the sight was unforgettable. A teenage girl in a hand-stitched jacket walking down the street surrounded by a protective circle of powerful motorcycles rumbling slowly beside her. People peeked out their windows. Cars stopped. Even the kids who used to tease Lily stared with wide eyes. As they reached her home, the bikers parked in a neat row. "If anyone ever gives you trouble again," the bearded man said, handing her a card with their club name, "you tell them you have friends." Lily laughed softly, a real laugh, not the nervous kind. "Thank you," she said. "My mom would have loved this." The biker woman smiled. "She's probably watching it right now." Before leaving, the bearded man pointed at the new patch she now held in her hands. "Sew it onto your jacket," he said. "Wear it with pride." Lily nodded. "I will." And as the motorcycles roared to life and disappeared down the street, Lily stood on her porch with tears running down her cheeks. But for the first time in a long time, they were tears of gratitude, not pain. She learned something that day, something she carried into adulthood. People make quick judgments. They laugh. They assume. They point. They criticize what they don't understand. But kindness, real kindness, is born the moment someone stops to look a little deeper. Those bikers could have ignored her. They could have kept laughing. They could have ridden off without a care. But instead, they chose compassion. They chose to listen. They chose to honor a memory. And in doing so, they changed a young girl's life. Years later, Lily still wore that same denim jacket, now with the biker club patch sewn proudly on the front. Whenever someone asked about it, she would smile and tell the story of how a group of strangers showed her that kindness can come from the most unexpected places. And maybe that's the message we all need today. Look twice, listen fully, choose compassion first. You never know whose heart you might heal, or whose story you might finally understand. Spread kindness, share hope, and remember, compassion never goes out of style.